for days. And when animal control was called, when that dog was spotted already, deceased, to pick up, they didn't do it that day. Somebody called 2 days later, and they're like, we haven't had time. Are you kidding me? That dog is out there decaying. The smell is obviously horrendous, and it's just horrible. So first of all, to see this poor dog that got hit by a car and died at the end of the road, but then animal control, who is paid by county taxpayers, aren't going to take the time to go out there and pick this dog up in the street later and the dog's still out there. This is what I'm saying. A lot of people in animal control aren't in it for animals. They're in it for, a paycheck. The reason why the mayor, especially in Bay County, does not care is because animals don't vote. If animals voted, he may want to care about the animals and do something about it. But these people don't vote. Animals don't vote, so they don't care about the animals. And to the people, that's all they care about is telling them what they want to hear and not doing anything that's going to oppose of them not getting a vote. But of course, as animal advocates, and there's so many of us out there who are trying desperately not to get Mayor Jimenez reelected and choose Raquel because she's actually going to do something not just for the people, but also to help the animals too, because that's what we need. Not just in Dade, but in Broward and all throughout Florida and everywhere in the United States. Because, it's said and it's something is said and nothing is ever done. They have a brand new shelter in Dade County now. Brand new shelter. But the same things happen in there, inside the shelter and outside the shelter. They dump cats all the time outside in Dade County, They don't care about the animals. A lot of people and who have the ability to make change and make a difference that are in that seat, whether it's mayor, or director of a shelter who can actually make a prominent impact of awareness in Dade County, doesn't do anything. Many years ago, I used to ask for monthly stats from them. They tell me how many animals came in, how many animals never made it out. And I would post that on my Facebook page and my rescue page at the time. So everybody in Dade County, Broward, and Palm Beach can know exactly what's going on in your county. These are how many dogs and cats going in that are being surrendered or picked up or dumped or whatever. And these are how many dogs that are being killed, and these are how many cats are being killed. That way people were aware of the reality happening, because if you don't hear that there's a problem in your community, how can you do anything about it? And I used to tell the shelter director this all the time, because he used to get mad at me literally because I would put this information out there that made him look bad. Well, it's not about him, it's about the animals that are dying in his shelter because he's allowing them to be killed in his shelter. So I'm not going to make it all about my animal services, but because, a lot of this does happen in South Florida and Dade County, they don't care. They don't want to go to the neighborhoods and picking up dead animals in bags. They'll wait until they have to do it. And then there's that, when the mayor is called and says the county is not picking up animals that are being killed, because the mayor doesn't care. If you send the mayor an email, if it's about an animal, he'll forward it to Alex Munoz. Alex Munoz then sends you an email telling you to call him. What does he tell you to call him? Because he doesn't want you to respond via email. Why? Because it is public record. He can give you all the BS, use that abbreviation, but he can give you all his BS on the phone. That way, it's only word of mouth. Nothing verbal, all verbal and nothing written in stone. So there's a lot of corruption in Dade County. I have no problem saying that publicly, but there's a lot of corruption in Dade County. So it's pretty much up to us, all of us, compassionate individuals, to do something about it, because they're definitely not. And elect officials that are actually going to act and do something in protection of not just people, but for animals. And then we can start making changes.
I agree. Sister, I remember, probably it was like maybe a year ago, where I was working, they found some little cats. So one of the guys over there that worked with me, he says, you know what? I'm going to take them over there to the Humane Society. And the strangest thing happened, because when he called the Humane Society, He says, well, we can't do anything with the animals, just leave them there. And it's like you say, it seems like the government and the city officials, at least down here, because I'm not going to say in Broward County and other places because I don't know about over there. But I know what happened here, right? And I know that said they refused the animals. They said, well, call this other lady there, and they never answered the phone. So, it ended up where, they said, we're not going to take these animals. And, so I can imagine, so they're probably okay with giving them to the people that do witchcraft, right off of the Humane Society, because I know that, I know down here in South Florida, you can adopt a dog or a cat, and they're not even going to go to your house and find out the condition that the animal is. So, this is a serious matter, sister. And, the question that I have, right? You said that one of the things that we could do to help this matter, right, is number one, we need to elect the proper officials in government, and I agree. And I think that collectively we should also pray and ask God for a breakthrough so that these people that are doing these things can find the real God. And I'm just, and what other thing do you think that that people, out there can be doing? I know that, like I mentioned, I have eyes in the sky, and I'm going around the neighborhood to see if I see any activity, and I have some cameras up and so forth. But what do you think the rest of the community should do?
I'm aware of what's happening, and some of them may be afraid to say something because they're afraid what may be done if they find out that they know, I think the most important thing is, whether it's going to the door, whether it's mailing out, whether it's, flyers, whether it's a newspaper article, something, or maybe all of it has to be done. Informing people of what's happening, not only puts the people who are doing this illegal, horrible stuff aware that people are finding out what we're doing. It's going to get harder for us. There's going to be more eyes on us. So, not that it's going to stop them from doing it, but it's going to put added pressure on them. But we have to get the community informed and aware of what's happening. This is the reality. Too many people want to sugarcoat or put blinders on. Before I was an animal advocate, and I've always loved animals my entire life, but I didn't consider myself a naive person. But when I started doing rescue, especially when I joined Facebook, I saw, mostly all dogs that were in need of help. So I started cross-posting and trying to find homes on Facebook for dogs, and I never saw a cat though. And when I started asking about it, my friend was like, Mindy, the cat has the highest kill rate. At that time, it was over 90%. And I was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, well, why don't I know about this? Why aren't I hearing about it? Why aren't I seeing any cats, that are stuck in the shelter being killed daily? Why isn't anyone doing anything about it? And it's just nobody was. So instead I started creating awareness, and I created my organization, which is called Under Cats for Life, which I have since closed. But, until I was made aware of the reality, I didn't know, which is pretty much why I say awareness is the most powerful thing that can happen right now, is letting people know what is going on, what is happening, because no one's going to tell them but us. We have to tell them. The public has to inform each other. And some will care, some will want to get involved, some will not care, but we have to do that. And not just you and me, but everybody, whether you're in Dade County, Broward County, Palm Beach, or any other county. It doesn't matter. If you know something what's going on, you have to inform other people. Make awareness. That's critical, is to tell people, because and do it in a way where it's not like, like someone tells, when I first started working at the shelter, trying to get animals out, they would tell you, oh, I'm sorry, the animal was humanely euthanized. Well, there's no such thing as humanely euthanized at a county shelter. These animals are not caressed. They're not, given a little bit of sedation prior to the the kill liquid that goes inside of them. There's none of that, especially, for the cats, especially for the dogs if they're being aggressive, which aren't aggressive, but there's no such thing as euthanasia. There's no such thing as quick sleep. The animals are not waking back up. They're being killed, so it's about, not making somebody feel uncomfortable. I'm not saying, they're murdering animals, not getting emotional and crazy, and they're not going to take you serious. Just, get the facts, get the information out there, create a flyer, put it on doors, put it on cars, put it wherever you need to, so people can look at it and read it. Some won't care to read it, some will. But the chances have to be made, and we have to do it, because the more people who are aware, the better, because nothing, we need them to be aware so they can act on it, or at least if they see somebody doing something like, wow, maybe that's what I need to be doing it. I'm thinking it's nothing because I don't want to look over there, really, but now that I'm seeing this, and there's someone I can actually call and reach out to and inform them of this, I can remain anonymous, at least now I know who to call, and that gives them an avenue of help for these animals.
Amen. Now, I know there's a few listeners out there that are listening to us, and all over social media and the blog spot and everything else. So right now I'm going to open up the lines for you guys to be able to call in. I'm going to give you the phone number now. If you have something that you want to ask my sister Mindy, or something that you want to say that you're helping out, or maybe perhaps you want to call in and say, listen, what can I do? How can I write to? Who do I write to? The phone number is 516-453-9084. 516-453-9084. I'm going to put some music on and then I'll be right back.
I will not be silent. I was born to worship. I will not be quiet. The voice of fear.
You're on the air.
Brother Lewis, how you doing? This is Brother Mike.
I'm doing well.
All right. Great. Great show so far. Yeah, I completely agree regarding animal rights and so forth. These animals should be treated humanely, and there's a lot of different ways of doing that, especially municipal law and statute keep things in control, and of course upholding that statute. You need people that are actually going to take action, and also organizations which are willing to take these animals in that are not false altruistic, that they say they're here to save the animals, and then they turn them over to people who are worshiping demons, who are simply using them as a vehicle or a tool to cast out unclean or cast out, curses, like you said. And that in itself, not only in the laws of man, but in the laws of the kingdom of God, are not right, But I wanted to talk a little bit about, what are demons, because, when you mentioned you were doing the show, and we're going to talk about black magic and witchcraft and so forth, there's a huge surge in these practices, not only in Hialeah, but throughout the world, and, of course, the United States of America, as the country seems to walk further and away from God and becomes more of a pagan. We see widespread witchcraft and santeria and macumbo and voodoo and witches and warlocks and and this is not